San Francisco 49ers losing their starting quarterback, although this one's much worse because he's out for the season, Jimmy Garoppolo, which is,
is it much worse?
Let's have.
I mean, the injury is much worse.
Well, okay. So Brock Purdy comes in, Dirty Purdy. He looks pretty similar to Jimmy Garoppolo. The offense looks basically the same. So Miami, I suspect they probably would have done the same thing against Garoppolo, but even more so against the 7th round draft pick. Stack the box, base personnel, basically daring him to throw, sending a lot of pressure. And he acquitted himself pretty well. Made some pretty tough throws under pressure. Now, that said, this was, again, the backup coming off of the bench. The everything's a little bit crazy. Do you think that he can approximate Jimmy Garoppolo level play? It sounds like you do over the course of the season.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think the combination. So if I had not seen him play and like 85% of that game, it might be a different story. But I think also, like, this is Kyle Shanahan's thing. Like, he has a track record of getting the best out of quarterbacks, and maybe he does not have a track record of like elite quarterback play. I guess the Matt Ryan year is one, but he does have a track record of like producing average to above average quarterback play from quarterbacks that we know not to be average to above average. And we saw him do it without any practice time with Brock Purdy. So, like, I don't know why we would suspect that Brock Purdy is going to get worse. And maybe, so, like, I heard people, I think RC was saying on Monday that, like, once people get film on Brock Purdy, and my immediate response to that is, like, it's not like we're looking at Flacco to Lamar in a change of, like, ability, but I guess what does make sense is different guys are comfortable with different things, and presumably Kyle Shanahan is going to create offense that allows Purdy to be in position to make the throws that he's comfortable with. So maybe guys will get film on that and try to take away except the problem with that is Kyle Shanahan attacks the same part of the field every week, with every quarterback every year. So, like, I don't know. We'll see.
I think you pose the question that I don't think we have an answer to, which is what is the real difference between him and Jimmy Garoppolo? It wasn't really on display, frankly, against the Miami Dolphins. Now, that's not to say it won't be on display later. Like, maybe Brock Purdy is a little bit less accurate on some of those, I don't know, slants over the middle of the field that Jimmy Garoppolo has good ball placement to set up his, receivers for yards out of the catch. Maybe Brock Purdy misses some of those throws. Maybe he turns the ball over more than Garoppolo does. We'll see. Maybe there's a ball security issue. Maybe his deep ball is worse. Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't really throw him, but, every now and then he'll connect on one. Maybe Purdy just can't do it. And defenses basically, sit even more. So we're going to learn a lot about him.
Maybe he's better at all that stuff. It's not like Jimmy has an elite bar.
Yeah. So it sounds like your opinion of the Niners didn't change that much. Wow.
That's what I said on TV today, is they asked me if the 49ers are a Super Bowl contender, and I said anyone who thought they were last week should still feel the same way about them now. And I think that most of the time when you point to someone's playoff performance as a knock on them, normally it's a small sample size and you're like cherry picking examples. But that is not true of Jimmy Garoppolo, who's played in 6 games. It's a pretty large sample size, and you don't have to cherry pick. Like, the success that they've had was not in Jimmy's good games. And then even wins that they've had, you see Jimmy Garoppolo missing the chances to put the wins away. So, like, I think Brock Purdy is capable of missing the chances to put wins away.
The defense, and you could, again, argue this was the case with Garoppolo, just has to be so good.
They beat the Saints 13-0.
Yeah. I mean, and what they did to the Dolphins, we're not even talking about the Dolphins, but holy crap, that was impressive. Yeah. I mean, I still have them as a woof because I'll just say, I think it's unlikely that he's better than Garoppolo. I do think it's possible that the drop-off is not massive, but I'm not going to come out here and lie and say I watched Brock Purdy's college tape and have a good sense of who he is as a quarterback, but a lot of people did. You know,
and he was Mr. Irrelevant.
yeah. So we'll see what happens. I do think they should stick with him. I don't think the Baker news is broke yet. That didn't make sense to me, especially because, there's this kind of assumption that, the Niners offense is similar to when the Browns, when Baker was successful. That's not really true, actually, anymore. It's not like as much of a under center play action boot. Maybe they would be with Baker, but
I think
I don't think.
In concept, they're from the same tree, but like in overall concept, I think it's fair to say like it's a situation where you're asking him to point guard to a lot of playmakers behind a good offensive. Well, this offensive line isn't as good as those Browns O lines were, but like you got a great running back, you got some great receivers, so like that to me feels similar. But you're right, scheme wise, they've evolved away from that. I disagree with you on one thing though. Like, I don't know that Baker is the answer, but they need to bring in as many people as they can, or as much as they can. Like, and even if Baker's not the starter, who's after Brock Purdy? So,
Josh
like,
Johnson.
So that's the point. Is like, you need somebody, you need more because you don't know what's going to happen, and
that's fair.
And Baker's not going to make it to him. I don't think Baker, as we talked about earlier, I don't think Baker.
Sounds like
clears waivers.
Picked up, yeah.
Somebody will grab him for $1 million just to test drive. I'm doing a lot of car analogies today.
RG3's somewhere stretching.
Yeah, he
Checking
is
his phone.
warming that arm up like that white kid in the Cam Newton commercial.
I haven't seen that commercial in a while.
Where's that kid now? Is it too early to do a Where Are They Now?
He's Brock Purdy, actually.
He might be.